Hey, how the hell is it going? Rich here from our Rich Studio, and I'm just going to be doing some sketchbook sketching today. I got my Pilot mechanical pencil here. My camera's going to take a little bit to focus in. Don't worry about that. And I have no idea what to draw. So this is what I do when I don't know what to draw. I draw some heads. And they're usually straight on and from the side and 3/4. And this is what happens when you're have absolutely no idea. Oh, first thing that comes to mind is just draw a head, draw a face, and once you get into it and you get some marks on the paper, you get some ideas. That's just part of the process. Staring at a blank piece of paper is a little daunting, especially if you have no preconceived ideas. So that's why I like having some challenges. Because you already have some sort of premise. You already have some sort of goal, and you have some idea of what you're going to draw. As opposed to this, I'm just going into it raw. No ideas, and when you have no ideas, nothing will come out. So, this is obviously a little bit of something, but it's not anything to speak of, really, per se. But you see how quick I busted these out. The speed on this is only 2 times. So we're only about a minute into this. I mean, these little head sketches take me 30 seconds each. It's not that big a deal for me to do. I swear I went through a rut for probably like 1 or 2 years, and this is pretty much all I did. My skill didn't go down because I kept sketching, but it didn't go up either because I was just blankly sketching away the same stuff over and over again. So I've gotten really good at these 3 heads. No problems whatsoever. I can do this in my sleep. And I still have no idea what to do after this. So you see me just like, what do I do? No ideas. So I just start busting out some anatomy. So you guys are going to watch me do some anatomy practice. Yep, noodling away on that face. Practicing some strokes. I heard one artist say, I forgot who it was. It was somebody, really accomplished artist, say every artist only has one good stroke or one good line. And he was basically saying, not that, you only make one good line per drawing or anything like that, but it's a certain stroke that you do. Every artist has their preferred stroke, either pushing the pencil away from them or pulling it towards them. And once you find that stroke, you have a certain line quality. There's a certain thing called line quality. I'm going into the science of it here. But line quality is huge when it comes to finished art. These YouTube videos are nice and all for learning or watching other people draw. But once that camera's off, that paper's not sitting still. I'm spinning it around. So I can do that one line that I do over and over again to make those faces. I'm spinning the paper around so I can do the same line over and over again, basically, with excellent quality. So what I did here with this figure was really kind of backwards for me. I don't know why I did it that way. I started with the torso and then went down to the pelvis and then up to the shoulders and head. Normally I just start with the head. It's kind of weird that I did that. But, yeah. I learned a lot about anatomy and, proportions and all this stuff from Jim Lee. And at least as a kid, I learned a lot from Jim Lee. And once he mentioned some names, I kind of went looking for them, like Frank Frazetta and Jack Kirby. I don't look at Jack Kirby, though, to be honest. But Frank Frazetta is hands down my favorite artist. I have a huge print of his up in my room right now that I'm looking at. It's the Werewolf versus Dracula. And maybe I'll post it on my Instagram later because I just got it framed. And I'm going to be hanging it up soon. I got to figure out a spot because my studio is pretty blank, to be honest. I have some bookshelves. I had a lot of stuff just kind of propped up around me, but nothing really on the walls. So this will be my first print framed, and it's going to be Frank Frazetta. And the dude is great. When it comes to, what is it called, Dynamic Anatomy or something like that? I think that's a book called Dynamic Anatomy. But he has this way of exaggerating the anatomy to a point that isn't cartoonish. You like the average person would look at it and go, ooh, that's realism or realistic, and not really notice that he's exaggerated certain things. but he's exaggerated it just enough to make a figure pop, have extreme, musculature and energy to drawing or painting through this dynamic anatomy. Just exaggerating certain things in certain poses and at certain times. Real genius breakdowns of it you should look at. And maybe my next video will be a study of a Frank Frazetta piece, perhaps the Werewolf versus Dracula piece, or something else, and really practice and study the anatomy and really pick up or steal, whatever you want to call it. I will rip off Frank Frazetta all day long. His stuff is genius, and you wouldn't even notice it because mine would be such a bad imitation of his art. Dude's a master, and I can't speak highly enough of him. But anyway, let me know in the comments section what kind of how-tos you guys would like to see, anatomy or faces, heads. Let me know, because I'm really thinking about doing it. I feel a little insecure doing some sort of how-to video because I'm not Frank Frazetta or Jim Lee or any of these other really well-known professionals. I'm just kind of a dude, in my opinion. But I know enough to where I could teach it. And I think it would give some people value. So let me know in the comments section. Yeah, I'm about to get into another piece here. I'm just going to do a head 3/4 view. And obviously I'm doing it bigger so you guys can really see how I do this. I always start off with a circle, and then you always extend it down. The bottom of the circle should be where the nose falls, and I think the head is actually like broken into thirds, but I don't really do those lines because I know what I'm doing, pretty much. Not pretty much, I know what the hell I'm doing. Circle's all I need to really get started and get going. Sometimes I might throw down a center line if the angle's a little more complex, like if there's a 3/4 from below or something like that. I might throw down a center line just to help me out. But I really don't need it on this at all. Like I said, this is stuff that I do all the time, and I don't really even need to think about it. So when it comes to style, yes, I take a lot of cues from, well, I wouldn't say cues style-wise from Frank Frazetta, but I learned a lot from Frank Frazetta. I look at Shinichiro Watanabe, and he's done animes like Space Dandy, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop. I have the Samurai Champloo art book, and it has storyboards, character designs, all that stuff, and I still pour over it all the time. It's actually out next to my art desk right now. It is amazing and really fun to look at. Just all the energy in that show, that, man, energy you get from the characters, and then when you look at the art book, you see all the energy that the creators really poured into the show. It's just phenomenal, and as an artist, if you are an artist, you would appreciate it whether or not you liked anime or not. It's really awesome to see. So I'm really working on the ear shape. Ear shape really, like, that's a style thing that I'm doing. And ears are really easy to draw. I know I've heard other artists, more, like amateur artists say, I don't know how to draw an ear. It's a weird thing. There's a bunch of weird folds and stuff. Listen, you just got to nail like 2 or 3 things on that ear because they're all pretty different. But I just draw the one ear over and over again. There's nothing special about it. So I'm blocking in the hairline and the shape. Not a whole lot to it. You definitely don't want to draw, each individual strand. Don't immediately start off by throwing in textures and all the lines, individual strands. That's not, no. Look at it as a shape. Knock it out to a few shapes. Hair can be a great element to draw as far as leading composition and stuff, especially for females with longer hair. You can use that for composition and really framing faces. be a great tool. But for guys, it's a little different. You can give a guy long hair, sure. But I don't really do that anymore, especially when you look at the current styles. It's not a whole lot of guys with long hair right now. They tend to have these high fade things, and yeah. I know a lot of people struggle with noses too. Let me know if you want to see a nose tutorial, because that can definitely be a video right there, just drawing noses, because they're all a little different, you know. Oh yeah, there you go. I like to do the little highlight spot right there, little square, and I think that's something I picked up from Kenneth Rockefort. If you look at his comic book art, he always seems to have a highlight on the nose. Totally swiped that from him. So as you can see, it's not just one artist that I'm stealing from, or even one style or medium that I'm looking at. I'm looking at animation, I'm looking at illustration, I'm looking at comic books. I mean, shoot, even Norman Rockwell. I'll look at him and I'll steal some of his stuff. He's a genius too. Yeah. I am a huge nerd, in case you haven't figured it out yet. Get the angry eyebrows. I don't know what kind of emotion I was going for here. I don't think I had anything in mind. I didn't know what I was doing. Just wanted to sketch and film. So here we are. Yeah, see, this is what I prefer. I prefer to use the eraser on the back of the pencil, so I don't have to keep on swapping tools. But this eraser is limited, so I tend not to use it. The Pentel mechanical pencils, you can actually buy replacements for their erasers. And that's what I've been doing. I've been taking off that back cap, and I just really draw with the Pentels because they have that replacement. And I haven't seen replacements for the Pilot ones. Once you find a pencil that you really like, stick with it and learn everything about it, and buy replacements for the erasers. That's what I recommend. These big block erasers are great for larger areas, but if you're like me and you like erasing and you erase all the time, you're getting fine details and you know, you're really getting in there in small areas and shaping it out. Yeah, I recommend buying some replacement erasers. Yeah, it's pretty much coming to an end. So please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Let me know what tutorials you guys want. Love you guys. See you later.